So can somebody kind of help bring that together? Because based on the testimony, I'm assuming that every situation is hostile. That's one of the notes I wrote here. And the best interest thing, it seems like we were talking about the courts and some quasi-expert figuring out the best interest rather than the parents being able to share what is the best interest of the child in these situations. So can somebody help bring that all together? Because it seems like it way got far afield as to how it relates to the bill and what goes on.
I can speak to the best interests of the children. There are several factors, and parents can fight about them. They can fight about how many, which parent took them to more medical appointments. They can fight about which one did more, went to more of the activities. They can, as earlier said, which one got along better. They can fight about who loves the children more, which parent the child is more associated with. And I want to Senator Hoffman's point. I think it was Senator Hoffman or Senator McGuire when she said, why do we need legislatures, you know, to legislate this? And if you understand or research fundamental rights and you realize that each parent has a fundamental right and it's not 50-50, it's 100%, 100%. And when we're talking about somebody getting a presumption of 25% parenting time, then that means the other parent gets 75%. And which parent are we talking about? The purpose of this legislation and why it would be invaluable if it could be simplified, because I think over the years it's overcomplicated. We're trying to take a family, and we're talking about national statistics and local statistics and legislate a family, and there are 5.7 million domestic orders a year in the country. Each family has their own little domestic order, and that's their own little order that's going to govern their family. And if we just simplify it, which I'd love everybody to get together and do that, to say that all parents have a fundamental right to the care, custody, and control of their family. And the courts are catching up to Troxel, which is in 2000. Just in the past 2 weeks, our Supreme Court Chief Justice, Lori Gilday, confirmed, you know, and it's 2012, Troxel and this fundamental right. So the legislators, the lawmakers, really don't have to legislate a fundamental right, but they have to reinforce it, and it hasn't been reinforced in the current laws. It's just been trying to be elaborated on. I researched back in the early 1900s, and do you know that we didn't talk about joint custody? We didn't talk about temporary custody. We didn't talk about physical custody. We didn't talk about sole custody. We just talked about custody. A parent had custody. One had it during the week, and one had it during the weekend. That's how simple it was. And fathers just weren't getting enough time. So we've really tried to legislate it too much, and I really do believe that if we could simplify it by everybody getting together, we will eliminate court for families. If every parent that's separating, and the realm of family is not something that courts are supposed to get involved in at all. The United States Supreme Court has said that, but they can really get involved in it when you're breaking up, can they? So let's give parents who are breaking up their fundamental rights back. And I trust parents. I've represented both sides of parents for 25 years, and I really do believe that if we give them those rights, they're not going to abuse them. We don't have to have courts second-guessing them. They're not going to say, I want more time just for the money, or I want more money, so I want more time, or whatever way the money will not be involved. Parents will go in and they'll acknowledge and they'll submit to the other parent, and they'll each get along, and they won't need lawyers, so I'll be out of a job. They will be able to do this themselves. No doubt about it in my mind. if we could just legislate what the fundamental rights that parents already have. They are fighting for their rights right now in court. Fathers, mothers, and it doesn't matter how many, we can say we're not in an adversary process, but when you file a divorce petition, and any one of you are married, you know, you're in bed one day with somebody, and you're in court the next. Any one of you who are married, there's no such thing as a friendly lawsuit in family court. You're actually, this is just the culture. We sue the other parent. We sue your husband. We sue your wife, the person that you're most intimate with, the person that you knows all of your secrets. And when you said something about people going with their own agreements, I thought you were going to say, you know, 10 years ago, somebody was up there and their agreement actually got accepted, because that's still happening today. Courts are second-guessing what parents want to do. So I am very firmly in support of the presumption of joint physical custody, to add to the presumption of joint legal custody, because we don't have joint legal fights anymore since the 80s.